Hey folks, Great Northern Prepper here. Today I want to talk about the SENTINA Freight Glove. This is a product that was sent to me by SENTINA, and I'm going to do a quick review of it, but just go over the basic background on the product. It is a polyurethane coated nylon is the base material. It is a 51-inch length by 45-inch width by 62-inch height piece of gear. So as you can kind of see later, and from the little handout right there, it can handle quite a bit of stuff. Now, what does this actually do? It is a coating to put on, or I should say like a bag of sorts to put around your whatever you're shipping. For some people, they'll use it for shipping materials when moving. For our uses, we're going to be looking at using it for your long-term storage buckets or other equipment that you want to use, to be able to put that, in the back area of the garage, or, some shop or something along those lines, so that it is kept, kind of free of bugs, vermin, and those types of things. It is watertight. It is airtight. It is also, with that airtight seal, it does not allow bugs or vermin in, and by that it won't stop a rat from gnawing into it. But what it does is that the rat won't smell anything. It'll be no different than if it's sniffing a wall. It's not going to chew through a wall if it doesn't smell anything behind it. And we're actually going to test that, and that'll be the second half of the video. It's also flame retardant, the polyurethane nylon, and it can handle temperatures from 40 below to 158 above. Now, what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be putting that freight glove down there on the pallet, and then we are going to be putting the buckets of food in and zipping it up and sealing it. To seal it airtight, you just use the nozzle adapter that's included in it, and you can use any kind of industrial type of vacuum, and we'll be using one of those, and I'll show you how that all works. Okay folks, as you can see, we have quite a few buckets in here. I have 9 6-gallon buckets on the bottom, and I have a total of 18. There's 2 missing right on the right hand side there, just to show you that there are that many stacked back that way, but there's 18 5-gallon buckets in here, and there's actually almost room enough for one more up top. But what we're going to do is we're just going to go with these 27 buckets, and we are going to vacuum seal it. Okay, next part we're going to be going over is vacuum sealing it. Now you're going to want to make sure the zipper is all the way to the edge here, and it seals up. It actually comes with this little zipper grease lubricant type stuff that needs to be used from time to time, but obviously first off we don't really need it. Okay folks, now we're going to be doing the part of it where we're going to be vacuum sealing it. I've actually found these little shop vacs work kind of the best. You get a little adapter with the product, with the SENTINA. It's threaded. Unfortunately I don't have anything. I tried my Dyson, it didn't really work all that well, but this little shop vac seemed to work pretty slick. And considering that you can pick these things up for like 15 bucks, it's really not that big of a deal. Most people got them around their garages. It doesn't, stay attached, but it does have a little seal around it so that when you're pushing it in and kind of hold it in on that on the little plug there, it seems to work pretty good. So we're going to videotape for just a little bit showing it being sealed up. Okay folks, as you can see, this works out pretty slick. You can see that it's definitely a airtight seal. Now, my next little trial for this thing is to test its vermin proof. I don't know, well, I don't have any traps handy with me right now, but I've been catching numerous amounts of field mice and other various mice species coming in since we had this cold snap here in Idaho. What I'm going to be doing is taking some peanut butter and ham, which seems to be the best thing for catching these little guys, and I am going to put it down towards the bottom here and unseal this thing, stick it down there and put it in there, and we will see what happens. I'll put a trap right next to it down there on the bottom, and we'll see if any of them chew through there. But as you can see, this thing is pretty slick. We'll just sorry about all the trash and stuff. It's a garage. As you can see, you can shake this around. I wouldn't necessarily trust it even after you've zipped it or after you've sealed it up here, to be shook around. I could actually take more air out of this thing. It'll get a little bit tighter, but what I'd probably recommend doing is putting some ratchet straps around each of the buckets to kind of hold them together. And but really, you could put all your food buckets in here. You could stick this off in the corner after you vacuum seal it, and you can kind of set it and forget it. As long as the temperature variations aren't going to spoil the food inside. If it's a relatively cool basement or whatever, this will keep, any of those funky smells or anything like that getting in there. So we'll do our little test here with the food, and we'll see how it turns out. I placed this mouse trap with a little bit of old cheese, which works out pretty well, and I've also placed a piece right up there on the right hand corner, and we're going to see how that works out. Now, I'm not guaranteeing a mouse is going to be in that trap. We'll probably let it sit a couple days until I can get something, but we'll see after a couple days whether or not they've tried to chew through this little protective layer and test that vermin proofing that it was talked about. But this is the SENTINA Freight Glove. They retail for about $4.99, and it's a little bit higher up there most people are willing to spend, but if you consider your preps and if you have some extra cash, it's definitely something I would look into. You can just set it and forget it, put them on a pallet, and if need be, you can, I don't know if you have forklifts or anything like that around there, but it makes it easier for use if you absolutely had to, having them on pallets, or you can always unzip them and haul them up by hand, however you want to do it. So check out SENTINA, and I will have a link in this video cast as well as the blog post to accompany with it. This is the Great Northern Prepper, and thanks for watching.
I wore out my shoes in that wrong way to run. I blistered my skin working hard in the sun. Supper's almost over and I done cleaned my plate, and there's a light shining yonder, boys, I don't think I'll wait. I'm a laid back one, and I've been one so long. I ain't perfect, you can tell by my songs. Brothers, forgive me for all of my wrongs. The good Lord, He's calling, and it's time to go home. I hear Him calling, and it's time to go home.